Good morning, dear students of class 8. Today we are going to discuss chapter 5, History, Revolt of 1857. Revolt of 1857. Okay. So, in this chapter, we will read about causes of the uprising of 1857 and the revolt of 1857. So, these two topics we are going to discuss in the whole chapter. So, from here our chapter is starting. We have learned that the British policies were practically against the Indians. So we already learned that whatever policies actually Britishers had made, their actually those policies totally was against the Indians. Okay, kings, queens, nawabs, peasants, landlords, and tribals felt oppressed and exploited by the policies of East India Company. So whatever policies was made by the Britishers, so actually kings, queens, nawabs, peasants, landlords, they all faced so much problem, and actually they were exploited by those policies from the East India Company. These policies did not promise welfare, from conflicts and wars to policies like the doctrine of lapse or the subsidiary alliance. So, we have already discussed about the doctrine of lapse and subsidiary alliance. Okay, so actually these two policies actually was very much created conflicted between the Indians and the Britishers. Everything was aimed at seizing power, wealth, and territories. So actually, what was the policies or of those two policies matter or meaning? Actually, it was totally aimed to seize power. Okay, so doctrine of lapse also and subsidiary alliance both seized the powers of the king, queen, landlords, and also their wealth and territories. The peasants were the worst hit as they had to pay high revenue. Yes, the Britishers had made the policies like that peasants have to pay high revenue. Okay. The tribals were deprived of their rights to the forest and hills. So the tribals were also deprived from their rights. That means they also didn't get their actual rights to the forest and hills. People realized that the British were here to exploit and earn profits and extra maximum resources from our country. So actually we know that our India was very richest country at that time, but Britishers and those traveler who have came India only for the they have tried to get the wealth of the India. So actually it was too much richest country. So for that Britishers also here to exploit and earn profit. They all time tried to earn maximum profit from the Indians. And its resources was our country. So they tried to get maximum profit from our country, India. Between 1757 and 1856, there were many local revolts which were easily suppressed by the British. So that time in between the 1756 and 1856, there were many local revolts were held. Okay. Regiments resentment was high, and trigger was provided in the form of sepoy mutiny. Resentment means you can say the irrigation. Okay, so actually means irritation. Sorry. So actually, Indians got that time too much anger on the Britishers and irritated with them. So their irritation was high, and trigger means, you know na, the gun has the trigger. Okay, when you pull that trigger, fire is going on. Okay, to fire by pulling a mechanical trigger, like a rifle have or gun have the trigger. Okay, so that their irritation actually form the sepoy mutiny. Now, what is the meaning of mutiny? The meaning of mutiny already given in your back page, last page, that means page number 60. So, mutiny means refusal by soldiers to continue obeying a person in authority. Now, the soldiers revolted with the intention of pushing the British out of India. Now let's understand the causes and effects of the revolt of 1857. Now we came to know what was the exactly causes and its effect of the revolt 1857. Now this is the causes of the uprising of 1857. So actually lots of causes were there. Okay, so point means partly we will learn, but I am just discussing with you the causes. First one is political causes. Next is economic causes, then the social and religious causes, military causes, and the last one is immediate causes. So now one by one we will discuss in details. Political causes. The British took away the power of the Nawabs and kings. Yes, it was their first policy and first idea that they have captured, or they have taken the all powers of the Nawabs and the kings. Okay, that means actually Britishers actually whatever they want as per them, they have to do the work. Nawabs and kings, they have no right to make any policies or handle in their way the situation. Everything depended on the Britishers. This was happening gradually since the mid 18th century. Then the British introduced policies like the subsidiary alliance. The king who accepted it had to disband their own army and keep a British resident at their court who constantly interfered in the administration. Yes, it was their main thought, you can say, or main policy, that if kings have own army, they never be used that. Whatever army Britishers have planned for them, only they can use their own army, or they can use only the Britishers chosen army. Okay. Moreover, these kings had to bear all the expenses of running the kingdom. But king only if means given the money for, or means expend the bear the all the expenses of the army. Okay. Another policy which angered the kings and queens of India was the doctrine of lapse, which forced Rani Lakshmibai to rise against the British. Yes, we know that what was doctrine of lapse. Actually, doctrine of lapse, when if the kings and queens have no their own child, if they have no own child, if they adopted the child, so that time their territories will be given to the Britishers. So Britishers annex their territories. Actually led revolt, okay, so she actually led the revolt of 1857 as her adopted son was not allowed to ascend the throne as per the doctrine policy. The annexation of Awadh also angered the India. So in this way actually they have captured or they have annexed Awadh also. In 1857, Lord Dalhousie annexed Awadh, which was the last territory to be annexed. The Nawab of Awadh had always been loyal to the British, and this annexation was seen as a betrayal on the part of the British. So the Nawab of Awadh had always been loyal. Actually, they were always been loyal to the others, but somehow Britishers were not means loyal with the Indians. They all the time betray with the Indians. This led to resentment among the sepoys who were from Awadh. In the same year, okay, so that means here in the same year means 1856, this year. In the same year, Governor General John Canning brought down the Mughal Empire by declaring that Bahadur Shah Zafar would be the last Mughal king, and after his death, none of his descendants would be recognized as king. So same here also happened that John Canning actually declared that Bahadur Shah Zafar would be the last Mughal, but who have no descendants, that means who have no male child. So as per that their policies, they captured the Mughal Empire also. Okay. So the name of the Mughal king was also removed for the coins. So actually that time we came to know from the Mughal Empire that kings and queens they pasted their name in the coin. So after that when Bahadur Shah Zafar have no descendant and they not get any means he not be recognized as a king. So after that Mughal king was also removed from the coin. So in coin they have their name or picture, whatever the pasted, it was removed. Now the next is the economic causes. Economic causes. The policies of British caused widespread distress and discontent. Okay, so whatever the policies, economic causes have the, so this policy of the British caused widespread. That means it was spreaded widely. Okay, distress and discontent. Now have the points. Economic causes. The peasants suffered as the revenue was high and the British strictly enforced the collection of revenues. As a result, what happened? The peasants were left without sufficient produce for their families. So when actually the Britishers they actually fix the revenue and they hide the revenue. So for the peasants, so peasants actually suffered from that. And what was happened? So that time peasants were left without sufficient produce for their family. So actually that what happened, actually presents whatever they produced, some portion they have kept for their family member also, but that time they have to pay the revenue, high revenue. So for that, whatever products they have kept for the family, they also sold it. Okay. Even when natural calamities like drought, like the flood, these are the natural calamities. Okay, so natural calamities struck or crops failed, they were forced to pay the revenue. So suppose natural calamities has come, still Britishers asked for the high revenue. They have to pay the revenue. The peasants often had to borrow money from the money lenders, and later, when he couldn't repay the loan, the money lenders took away his land. So actually, what happened when they not produce in for the natural calamities, they may not be products, the grow crops or whatever. So what happened? So peasants have to pay their taxes. So for that reason, they borrow, or they, that means yes, they borrow money from the money lenders. They try to actually collect some money from the money lenders, but later, if they couldn't pay the money to the money lenders also, then money lenders, what he did, money lenders asked his own land. Okay, that means money lender actually took away his own land. The next point, craftsmen. That means those who make anything by their hand. Okay, craft. Okay, you know now art and craft. So craftsmen and weavers faced unfair competition. After the Industrial Revolution, the goods were produced in bulk. Bulk means huge. People preferred to buy these machine-made goods which were much cheaper than the handmade products by Indians which were expensive. So here also they faced the huge loss because people actually preferred to buy the machinery goods, machinery things, okay, rather than the handmade products. Next point or last cause is the British policies ruined Indian handicraft industries and agriculture. So these actually the three reasons have the economic causes. Okay, so now our next point is social and religious causes, but this point we will discuss in our next class. Okay students, so till thank you, goodbye.